The ARTEMIS CP300 versus VESTA ROSSI. Both are 50 caliber for home defense. Which one is better? We're going to compare these two toys here today, and anyone can have them at home. They're not firearms, they work with CO2, but they make troublemakers run away. Shall we take a look? Starting with the size, you can notice that the VESTA is smaller, so if you want a more compact piece of equipment, maybe the VESTA is a good option. It has this extension here at the back, but its overall length is a little shorter, okay? The sight on this one is just painted, while this one has a fiber optic at the front and nothing at the back, which makes aiming a little bit harder, okay? But it's still very good. Neither of them is bad in this situation. The CP300 has a safety. Right here, a physical safety, so you can lock it and no one will be able to fire it. This one here doesn't have that. The only safety is this little button here, so if anyone puts their finger here, it'll fire if it's loaded. The CO2 system on the CP300 screws in, so you have to leave it at a certain point, and when you want to use it, you finish screwing it in. The VESTA, on the other hand, has a system where you hit it from the bottom, so you leave the CO2 screwed in, and when you want to use it, you just give it a hit and it's ready to go. The action is a little faster, but screwing it in isn't that hard either. Now we're going to fire a few shots to check the efficiency and also the power of this thing. But before that, it's worth noting that this equipment here is meant for home defense. It's a paintball device. It uses .50 caliber ammo like these here, which are spheres or special rounds that we'll show you in a moment. In other words, anyone can have this at home because it's not a firearm. The purpose of this equipment is for you to use it in paintball, to shoot paintballs at others, or to scare off intruders. Just imagine if someone is trying to break into your house, jump over the wall, or steal something. If it's a guy who's unarmed, you'll hit him and hurt him. Since this doesn't break the skin, it won't be fatal. However, it will bruise and hurt, causing the person to leave. There are even some special types of ammunition for this, like rubber rounds or even gas rounds. When you fire it, it bursts and releases gas right in the person's face, and then they can't see or breathe properly, just like pepper spray. So, the whole idea behind this is to defend your home without necessarily causing someone's death. In other words, it's much easier for you to go to court if the intruder wants to sue you or if the intruder's family does. This happens here in Brazil. People go to rob a house and then they get killed in the process, and then the family comes and sues the guy who killed them, even though the other guy was a thief, right? Often homeowners end up in jail because of this. That's why this equipment was created, to prevent such situations in Brazil. But it can't stand up to firearms at all, because it just can't. Firearms are much more effective. They actually have an orange tip. This one is painted on and can be removed, and this part can also be taken off, because this equipment isn't required to have an orange tip. Paintball equipment and air guns that use pellets don't need to have an orange tip. Only airsoft equipment and toys, okay? But just to be safe, leave the tip on, it's better, okay? That way, no one gets confused and thinks this is a real firearm. So let's reload the VESTA. You pull it back. Actually, it was already pulled back, right? Pull it all the way to the front. There's a little hole here that fits 6-round pellets. That's actually a disadvantage of the VESTA because it only takes spherical shaped pellets. In other words, aluminum balls, steel balls, rubber balls, gas rounds, whatever you want, but only spheres. With the ARTEMIS, you'll see that there are special types of ammo, including even arrows for it, so you have a lot more options, and both have the same capacity. Here, look, we take off the cap, put the cylinder in with the tip facing out, and screw it in until it stops. See? There. No. Did it go? It didn't go? Not yet. It goes a little more. There. Now it's fully screwed in, so it's ready. When you want to fire, just hit here, see? And it punctures the gas cylinder, then the pin pops out, and it's ready to use. The way it is now, it won't fire. It only fires if I hit it here from underneath. I can press here all I want, and it won't fire. Now let's move on to ARTEMIS. It already has this revolver shape, so it's a little different. Here's the cover. Whoa, now we're in trouble, huh? Hey man, this kind of equipment doesn't tolerate dirt. Come on, huh? Alright, for this one, tip down, insert carefully, and start screwing in. Don't go all the way. When it looks right, stop. When you're ready to use it, finish screwing it in. To be able to reload it, we have to pull this thing and move it over here, see? This is one of the advantages of your revolver, because you can have several of these here, you buy them separately, and then we're going to load the ammunition, which also has many options. Let's use the small ball. Look here, see? It's a smaller sphere, which has this plastic casing here. This casing comes off during the shot, and then only the sphere remains. Since the sphere has a smaller contact area, it can penetrate more, which is an advantage in some situations. Besides this one, there are other types of ammunition as well. We'll test with this one since the other uses a sphere and I don't have more large spheres. This is the closest option for a fair test. Look, here's the other ammunition. It's made of machined steel. This ammunition is really expensive. It has a tip, but what's the problem? Since the barrel isn't rifled, it doesn't spin. Most of the time it hits there sideways. So instead of hitting tip first to use all the energy, it hits sideways, hits at an angle, and ends up losing a lot of energy. I don't think this other ammo is worth it, but the small ball in the tests I did was worth it, man. Let's keep it locked then, we'll put it here. Just a reminder, we're doing this test in a totally safe way, man. This is private property, there's no one nearby, it's completely safe. Don't try this at home, okay? We're going to do this using all the safety equipment in the best way possible, so don't do this at home. Look, before tightening the CO2 cartridge, it's loose here. I'm going to tighten it so you can see what happens, so you don't make a mistake. First, before you buy equipment like this, their links will be down here below for you to take a look. There. Here's the thing, the round that's in the chamber is not the one that's going to be fired, because before firing, it rotates the chamber. Look here. It rotates the chamber before firing. So to shoot once, load only one round in the previous slot, since it rotates to that position. On this side, in this case, right? On this side, you have to load it before, because it will rotate first and then fire. See, first it rotates and then it fires, so it will always fire. The next one, not the one that's in the chamber. Alright, it's time for testing. I know that both have a more powerful first shot. I got some soap here. We're going to do it just like in the last test. I'll put the 2 bars of soap here and we're going to shoot in super slow motion, really close, to see how much it will penetrate. And we'll compare the two to see which one performs better. Important detail, nobody lives in this big house here. It's a very old mansion, abandoned for many years, so there's no one around here, okay? Let's test my reaction time to get it ready to fire. It's set here, the intruder appears, I grab it and do this. Watch. See, it's really fast and ready to fire. Now let's compare it to the other one. With this one, the intruder appears the same way. I reach over here and press this. Look. There you go. You saw that it took much longer, right? That time can really make a difference. It's up to you, but it's nothing you can't do, okay? It's really quick too. First test on the soap at point blank range. ARTEMIS CP300 in 3, 2, 1, and... Wow, that's awesome. Look here, you see, just like I said, the casing stays behind. I'll try to take it out here so you can see how the ball penetrated, huh? Look here. The ball keeps going in, so cool, man. But we'll compare in a bit to see if there's any difference. I'll set this one up and let's go with the other one. VESTA ROSSI .50 and point blank against the soap in 3, 2, 1, and... Let's go then. Look, visually you can already clearly see the difference, right? Look, the ARTEMIS went much deeper because of the ammo, since it's a different kind of ammo, right? If we cut here, look, we'll be able to see exactly how far it went, see? It really wasn't made to penetrate, no. The idea is just to hurt. Let's see the other one. A thinner round like this one wouldn't hurt as much, but if it penetrated, right, it would go much deeper. Notice the difference. It went much deeper due to the ammunition. With the same ammo, there'd be no difference. But this time it went twice as deep. Interesting, right? Now, let's do the accuracy test. So, I set it up at 10 meters away. I'll go up front so you can see. Look, it's pretty far from here. I zoomed in the camera so you can see it closer. And now let's see which one I can hit more easily. I'll get into position here, so let's go. ARTEMIS CP300 at 10 meters away against the can. Accuracy test in 3, 2, 1, and cue the music. Look, I got it on the first try, huh? I'm not really that good at aiming, but it worked. Now let's go to the VESTA. Let's go. Accuracy test. VESTA ROSSI, .50 in 3, 2, 1, and cue the music. The recoil on this one is much bigger, man. It kicks back like this. So I missed the first shot. Let's see. Second shot. Both of them missed again. It looks like it's already done. Also, there's another disadvantage to this equipment. It runs out of gas much faster than this one here. So maybe that means it has a bit more power in the shot, but it runs out much faster. This one here can still fire about 5 or 6 more shots, but this one is done. It barely managed to finish the ammo it had. So you can see there's a difference there. And I'm also not as practiced with it as I am with ARTEMIS because I've had her for much longer, so maybe that's the reason. But there's also the barrel length, right? The barrel length of Artemis is longer, so you can get more accuracy with her. Anyway, not being able to hit with her right doesn't mean it's impossible. She can do it, right? Yeah, it's just that I'm not really good at aiming, but with this one, even though I'm not good, I managed to hit the target. So there's that disadvantage. It's a little more expensive, but it ends up winning in several aspects, but this one also wins in others. What do you guys think? Which one is better for home defense? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss and exchange ideas. See you in the next test.